All right, welcome in. It's episode number 45 of Shippy and Grubes. I'm Shippy.
I'm Grubes.
And we are here to party in honor of Derek Holland, Michael Jordan after baseball, Pedro Martinez, who likes to throw old people to the ground in front of everybody, Rudy Tomjanovich, Tom
Jonovich, I believe.
Is it a soft J or no?
No, it's not like Yogging.
Bob Gibson, and Daryl Dawkins.
And Sammy Vatanen.
Oh, yeah.
That showed up on the little, I always,
God.
do a search for famous athletes who wore
Yeah.
number whatever. And all of a sudden, a picture of Sammy Vatanen in a Stars jersey.
He was a star
He
for
played 9 games.
I was going to say, he was a star for like 6 days or
No,
something.
it's like, well, I got to include that just to see if Shippy notices.
Well, I did notice, and I was like, how did he end up on this list? Because I looked at it before, and I didn't see him on there,
Yeah.
and that must have been a late addition.
Yeah, I would not have thought about that if the picture wasn't actually of him in a jersey of the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you included him, because that brought back 9 games of memories.
Indeed.
Didn't he just flee the Stars for some reason? Like, he just
Yeah,
left?
like I think it looked like he went to another team pretty shortly after, but yeah.
Well,
whole thing.
This one's not for him.
No.
It's for Derek Holland and Michael Jordan and all the other guys we talked about.
Yeah, and Rudy Tomjanovich.
And Jonovich. It is Tom Jonovich.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also for people who love NBA free agency and NHL free agency, because we are recording on the day that both of those things start. So we're going to try our best to keep up. There's already been a lot of stuff breaking this morning. Obviously, when you hear this, it'll be a day removed. So there could be more moves that happen after we recorded this, but we're going to do our best to keep you up to date. And
As of about the 11 o'clock hour on Tuesday, July 1st, 2025.
Yes. And we actually have some other breaking news as well, as the Sunset Lounge is moving to YouTube.
Hell yeah.
You can go to youtube.com and check out Sunset Lounge DFW, where you'll find all your favorite Sunset Lounge podcasts. We're really excited about this. We feel like, if you're still on Patreon, that's fine. We're still going to be uploading stuff to Patreon if you've got that figured out. But we just look at this as now we're expanding to people who don't have Patreon or don't know how to use it.
Yeah, for the people that are just used to doing, enjoying their podcasts and other stuff on YouTube, it's just ideally you subscribe, but technically you don't have to. But we recommend that you do, because there's a lot of content to get to.
Yeah, there's
a lot of fun to be had if you just subscribe and just let that playlist roll.
Yeah, and like if I watch like a podcast or something, it usually is on YouTube for myself as well. Like I like to see the people talking, but also if you're driving, you don't want to watch it, you can just have it running in the background, easily connected to your speakers. So
it's a glorious thing.
It is a glorious thing. I'm really, really excited to be on YouTube. So be on the lookout for that, and tell your friends if they need some Shippy and Grubes in their life, which they do,
Of course.
and they have YouTube, which they also probably do.
Hopefully.
I think by now, if you don't have YouTube, you're like me not knowing what Apple Pay is.
Yeah, if you don't have YouTube, you're probably not aware of us.
And if you don't chew Big Red.
Blank you.
Yeah. Today is Bobby Bonilla Day as well.
Yes.
Big day for him as he gets paid by the Mets. When is this over?
2032, I believe.
What a deal.
2035 when he turns 72.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so all because the Mets didn't want to pay a $5.9 million buyout of Bonilla's contract for the 2000 season.
So
instead they pay about $1.1 million a year, starting in 2011, and through 2035. So today is a day of celebration for Bobby Bonilla for just sitting on his butt and chewing Big Red, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, he can buy a lot of Big Red now.
Oh, he can buy all the Big Red.
As of today, he's got plenty of money to go get some Big Red.
I wonder if he goes through it every year just for fun. Instead of, saving, putting in stocks, whatever, just...
I mean, the older you get, I don't know about his family situation, if he has, like, a lot of kids or anything like that he's trying to set up for, like, college and stuff. But, I mean, still, that's a lot of money, like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I would think he's investing or something.
I think he throws a party today every year, right?
I would hope so.
You have even if you don't have you just have a cookout or something.
Yeah. Just as soon as bring everybody over and I don't know when the direct deposit hits or whatever, but get that little ding from his bank app and just a little smile on his face.
He's at the slot machine right now when it hits.
He might be.
So
that's how you invest
That's
money.
how you invest wisely.
That's how I invest money.
Yeah, because you put it in the slot machine, and when you get it back out, you maybe have more.
Right.
Follow me.
There's literally no downside.
There's no downside. Follow me for more financial advice, but I would not. I'd say tread lightly, though, when you take that advice. You know?
Okay.
You never know.
No, but maybe have some advice on people that have parking tickets.
Oh, yeah, I went to court today. I actually didn't go to court. I went to my couch where I had court today. It was actually great because I got a parking ticket from parking out in front of my own place.
How does that work?
And so here's how it works. I live on a street that faces like a main road in Dallas. I don't want to say exactly where it is, but it's not like a main road, but it's like...
It's a reasonably sized road.
Yeah, like there's a decent amount of traffic.
You probably have heard of it if you live in Dallas.
Probably. And so when I moved in over a year ago to this complex, I was told if you park behind this certain marker on the road, behind there, you're good. No ticket. I was like, all right, cool. Been parking there for a year, basically on and off, like loading, unloading, and then it's a lot easier just to go out my front door.
Sure.
So I got a parking ticket like 2 months ago, and then I got another one a month later, basically. I'm like, are these guys picking on me? Like, is there a buffer period? Like, okay, we gave them a ticket a week ago. We can't give them another one, can we? Or is that again? I don't even know.
I don't know. But have you been still parking in that same spot?
I found different parking around the corner.
Okay.
Because, like, whoever is picking on us on that street, they're getting the same little area every single time. And so the other day, actually, Derek Holland stopped by to pick up a fantasy football trophy, and we were standing there talking, catching up outside, and I saw the parking guy down the street from me, and I was like, I'm going to watch him. I'm going to see who he writes a ticket for. Because there's like a no standing this side of sign, like a no standing zone, and no parking this side of sign. Well, he went to the car that was the very first car by that sign, took a picture of the sign, which I'm assuming this is what he did when I got my 2 tickets, took a picture of the car, wrote it up, put it on his windshield, and left. There were more cars that were parked behind him. And I was like, this is perfect timing. I actually didn't find out that my hearing was today until yesterday.
So shippy.
And this was 2 days ago that I saw this, but I was like, oh, what perfect timing. I literally emailed them yesterday. I said, hey, I didn't see an email. When's my hearing? And she goes, oh, it's tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm really glad I reached out to you.
No kidding.
So anyway, see him just walk, and he goes and gets in his car and just drives off. So I'm like, I see all these other cars, including Derek's, and Derek's like, am I going to get a parking ticket here? I was like, well, I don't know. I think your car is on, so you're good, but I've parked here, and I was told I could, and I got a ticket. So basically, this morning, I've never done a virtual hearing before or contested a parking ticket like that. So I was a little bit nervous, and I didn't know what to expect. And so I like log in or whatever. I'm on Zoom. This guy's talking to me, and he's like, does the whole, like, do you swear to tell the truth and all that? I'm like, man, I'm in court right now, but I'm wearing a McLovin shirt. And
Were you really wearing it?
I was.
Yes.
I was.
I was about to ask what you were wearing.
Okay, well, because this all plays into me not knowing what to do. Because I'm like, I feel ridiculous if I go put on, like, a button-up and stuff.
Yeah, it's like...
to sit on my couch in front of a camera. And I was like, maybe he'll be like, well, you didn't dress up, or else I would have dismissed the ticket. So we're talking, and he goes, you do all, like, the legal mumbo-jumbo, whatever. I said, I do.
Like, yeah, like
yeah.
Like you're at the altar?
Yeah, and I was like, dude, this is weird. And so he starts, then he goes, let me hear your testimony. And I'm like, my testimony? I'm like, well, my testimony is that they told me I could park here. I got a ticket a month ago for parking where they said I could park. A month later, I get another ticket for the same thing. I'm just trying to understand what the hell the law is here. I'm trying to figure out where can I park, where can I not park. I'm literally in front of my house. Like my place of residence. They told me I could park here. So he goes, okay, are you done with your testimony? I was like, I think so. I think we covered all the bases. And I told him about the parking guy coming by the other day. And I was like, I don't understand how they decide who to write tickets for. And so he finishes. He goes, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and pardon this for you. He goes, second of all, I don't know how. He goes, I don't like enforce the law. I don't know the laws of that road that you live on. So you're going to have to call this phone number and get some further clarification, because as much as your apartment complex can say, like, yeah, you're good to park here. No, you can't park here. at the end of the day, it's just up to the parking officer. And he did say, too, he goes, some officers are more strict, some are more lenient. Like, they can kind of just do what they feel like doing, I guess. Like, and
Must be nice.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I was like, okay. I was like, well, thank you very much. And he gave me the number for the parking supervisor to call and try to get in touch with, figure out where the hell I can park. And he goes, do you have anything else to say? I go, no, sir. I said, appreciate you. He goes, yeah, well, if you go back to the website, it'll say, your case was heard and it's been dismissed. And then right before we hung up, he starts laughing. He goes, by the way, I love the shirt.
Nice.
I was like, oh, thank you, sir. I was like, I appreciate it. And in my head, I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I was like, I felt like an idiot if I were to dress up for a virtual hearing date on my couch. Like,
yeah.
Imagine my cat walks across like he's
Right.
been known to do, and I'm like, yep, hey, that's Biscuit, by the way. He lives here. Like, so I just wore what I was going to wear here.
Did you wear your hat too?
I did.
Okay.
I wore a
wasn't
hat.
Sure if you were going a little bit.
Nope. I
More-
dressed like, and he was wearing like, he wasn't wearing a hat, but he had like just like a polo shirt on. Like, it
Okay.
wasn't crazy. Like,
Yeah, I didn't figure, but it is still a weird thing. Yeah, where it's
if I went to the courthouse, I would have dressed up.
Of course.
That's
yeah.
why I went with the virtual one instead, because I wouldn't have to go anywhere, and I probably wouldn't have to dress up.
No, but that's good to know. And it sounds like the judge, I'm guessing. was the judge? Or
Hearing
the
officer.
Hearing officer? Okay, yeah. It sounds like they were pretty cool about it, too. It's like, look, it's a parking ticket, like the worst that happens, I guess, is that you still have to pay the fine or whatever.
Right,
But,
and he was nice enough to waive that, because I brought up the previous ticket, too, and I was like, man, I'm just trying to understand. Like,
Right.
they told me this, and he goes, look, they can tell you all they want, but, and I was like, well, I don't understand the sign. Like, no parking this side of the sign. There's people that have been parking here all year, and sometimes they stop at a certain point and don't give tickets to the other half. So I'm like, where is that point to where I'm good? Because I will park somewhere else. I don't mind walking. Like,
sure.
it's not a big deal, So, yeah.
Man,
Went to court in a McLovin shirt and won.
that's pretty amazing.
So, if you guys go to court for a parking ticket, maybe do a bit. Maybe that'll help my case. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm thinking about I think I'm going to change the title of our episode to I Fought the Law and McLovin won. So give me a second. And
I love it. While you're doing that, we've
yeah.
got some NBA news that we need to get to as things are going crazy. We'll start with the Mavericks here. As the Mavericks, as was being reported leading up to free agency, they signed D'Angelo Russell to a 2-year, $13 million deal. He's reunited with AD. He comes in to run the offense until Kyrie Irving is back, hopefully in January, maybe February, somewhere around there. So that's a big signing for the Mavs. I mean,
that's awesome.
He's a little bit of a wild card, which I kind of love.
Got to keep it interesting.
I think he has the gif of the 3-point shot where he turns around like he made it, and it was
that is him.
and it just totally misses. And he's like, "What's
you're
up?
welcome, everybody."
Yeah. I love that.
Oh my gosh, I forgot that was him.
So I'm excited about the signing. I'm excited about him running the offense. I'm not sure if this takes them out of the running. Probably takes them out of the running for CP3 or anybody like that.
Yeah, and it sounds like CP3 is leaning pretty heavily towards somewhere on the West Coast. Like,
Okay.
sounds like he's kind of tired of living away from his family during the season because they stay in California, to my understanding.
Yeah.
And then he's played everywhere else.
Right.
So I think CP3 is pretty much not going to happen for
So
us.
he went to San Antonio and was like, Charles Barkley's been right. This place is not fun.
He might be, yeah.
I'm going back to the West Coast.
Yeah.
So now CP3's like, you know what? I'm just gonna
Give me the
stay
palm trees.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back where I'm familiar with.
Yeah,
the
no
West
more
Coast.
Riverwalk.
So you got that. Dame Lillard, this is breaking as of this morning, has been waived by the Milwaukee Bucks to make room for Miles Turner, who signed a 4-year, $107 million deal with the Bucks. That's obviously a huge blow to the Pacers. That's a huge blow to the Pacers, and could be a huge blow to the Bucks as well, as now Giannis is reportedly really unhappy with the decision to let Dame go. So I think that's
like Giannis has put out a tweet, and what did it say? I don't even understand what's going on right now.
Yeah, he said, I don't even understand what's going on right now. So that must have been when the Dame whenever he was made aware of Dame being let go, that must have been his reaction to that. And then there's got to be part of him, too, that's like, why are we bringing in another big man? Like, we've got me, right?
Right.
I mean, you can't have too much front court help, especially look at the Mavericks now with the front court that they've got, assuming that the roster stays like it is. I mean, they've got their front court is ridiculously deep. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there with Giannis if he asks out. But yeah, we got some NBA news there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander agrees to a 4-year, $285 million supermax with the Oklahoma City Thunder through 2030-31. And then some trades in the NBA. The Kings trade Jonas Valanciunas to the Nuggets for Dario Saric. This coming after the Nuggets just traded Michael Porter Jr. and an unprotected 2032 first-round pick to the Nets for Cam Johnson.
Making moves.
So, yeah, and like there's been other moves that have happened, in the meantime, but a lot going on in the NBA as always, and we now have some breaking Dallas Stars moves, or a move.
Mm-hmm.
As of now, Glenn Gulleton, the assistant coach for the Edmonton Oilers and former Dallas Stars head coach, has been rehired back in Dallas to be the next head coach of the Dallas Stars. Here's Jim Nill's statement on the hiring. We are thrilled to name Glenn as the head coach of the Dallas Stars. Since his previous time in Dallas, Glenn has worked tirelessly to establish himself as one of the most respected coaches in the NHL. His extensive NHL experience, both as a head coach and assistant coach, speaks to his ability to innovate and adapt to the modern game, as well as build relationships with his players. Glenn has worked with some of the best players in the world and continually found ways to maximize their skill sets to contribute to team success. We have full confidence that he is the right person to elevate our team to the next level.
Nice.
So,
yeah, and it's kind of crazy. Like, I didn't even think about it, but Nill's the one that actually fired Gulleton when he took over. So, it's definitely an interesting move.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's been 13 years, so, Gulleton's had a lot of time to reflect and think, and it sounds like he is a very introspective guy, but doesn't let it, mistakes and decisions define him and all that. And it does feel like it's going to be an interesting scenario, though, where, okay, if he doesn't get us to at least the conference finals, and beyond, pretty much if he doesn't get us to the Stanley Cup, whether we win it or not, but if we don't get to the finals, it's kind of like, okay, we technically regressed. Like,
right.
Why did we move on?
Yeah, and that's the tough part about firing a coach who's taking you to 3 straight conference finals, regardless of not taking that next step. I mean, nothing is, as cliche as it is to say, nothing is really promised for next season, you know?
And yeah, like just because you were there last year, obviously plenty of teams are learning, like doesn't mean that you're going to be anywhere close to that the next year.
And being in the Central Division, I feel like they have the toughest route to the Stanley Cup because, once you're done beating, I don't know, the Avalanche or the Jets or the Wild or, the Nashville Predators, I feel like could make a big bounce back. They've got a lot of talent on that team. They just they couldn't get it together last year. It was just kind of a weird year. It's not going to be easy, no matter what. And then by the time you get through those first 2 rounds, assuming you're not a wild card team, it's like, all right, now here's the Edmonton Oilers or the Vegas Golden Knights who just signed and traded for Mitch Marner.
It's crazy, dude.
You got the LA Kings who were really good last season until they got rid of the harmonica ladies.
Oh, yeah.
That turned that series around.
Forgot about that.
Well,
hey, and the Stars did make another move, too. Colin Blackwell stays in Dallas 2 years at, looks like $775,000.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up because I just saw that as well. So, and that's a huge, the fourth line for the Stars last year was huge in their, playoff push.
Mm-hmm.
With Blackwell and then Sam Steele and, they would switch out either Oscar Beck or Evgeny Dodonov, but I felt like the Beck, Blackwell, and even Bork on that line was pretty solid for them. So we're gonna do our best here to
there's so much happening
to keep everything to keep everything as current as possible while we also do the show that we have planned for you today.
Yes.
Because we also have, in more NHL news, the Panthers are bringing the band back. They signed Brad Marchand to a 6-year extension.
Yeah, that felt a little weird.
So when my friend, who's a Boston Bruins fan, Ryan, he texted me, he said, they just signed Marchie in Florida for 6 years. I was like, there's no way that's real. He's like 37.
Yeah, he's going to be 43 when it runs out.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, 6 years? I mean, I think he could play a long time. Like,
sure.
I could see him playing, into 44, 45 years old, but just hearing that number at 37 was a little insane to me. And then we talked about the Sam Bennett news last episode where he re-signed for another 8 years, but then yesterday they go out and they re-sign Aaron Ekblad for another 8 years at around $6 million. And as we mentioned, at House of Healing, and on this podcast, like Ekblad was my number one wish for the Stars this offseason, just to kind of bolster the blue line, bring in a physical presence, a guy who's won, a guy who's made it there, a guy who, I don't know, maybe he has some insight on how to beat the Oilers.
That would be nice.
And, Glenn Gulleton also, I mean, maybe taking him away from the Oilers hurts their coaching staff as well. Maybe it hinders
definitely sounds like he did a great job, managing egos and all that with the Oilers. But yeah, it's Ekblad would have been nice.
And it sounds too like I saw this quote from an article that Robert Tiffin put out, and he said Glenn Gulleton, after his first stint with the Stars, said that he owed a personal apology to Brendan Morrow and Jamie Benn because he tried to over plan or
it sounds like he tried to force a system on everybody instead of kind of allowing his system to adjust to his roster, which ideally that's what a coach does. But, when you're seen as the young hotshot, he's a genius, he's going to do all this, he's got a plan, a system that just no one's going to be able to know what to do about it. And, and then it's like, yeah, but we got these guys that kind of aren't really fit for your system, so you kind of need to adjust, Mr. Glenn.
Right, and I mean, that's the whole thing that's what's going to have to happen if you're going to beat the Oilers, next season in the conference final, assuming that the matchup, that's the same matchup.
It's possible.
You're going to have to figure out a way, and I feel like sometimes, the Stars could get kind of stuck in their ways, or I'm like, why are we still dumping and chasing, or why are we still trying to bring the puck through the neutral zone? The way they're set up right now, they're deterring that every single time where it's not working. And it's like McDavid said in the Stanley Cup final, where it's like, sometimes you just feel like you're just banging your head against a wall, just trying to no, this is what we do. This is how we do things. It's got to work.
Yeah.
And
you got to adjust.
And honestly, on that McDavid note, I hadn't had this thought till right now. I mean, this guy has coached McDavid for a few seasons. McDavid, there's been some speculation that, if he's going to sign an extension, it could be a shorter term or he could ask out, depending on how the offseason goes. And Dallas was rumored to be a spot that would be a place that he could eventually consider.
Really?
That, Tampa Bay, and then there was one other team, I believe. I think actually Florida was the other team that was mentioned.
Fair.
I'm like, dude, if they signed Ekblad, Bennett, Kachuk, McDavid, I'm like, all right, man.
How the hell are they making all that money?
I don't know.
Jerks.
I gave out financial advice at the beginning of the show, but I really don't understand.
We might have to go to the Panthers for real financial advice because they seem to have their stuff in order.
They've figured out something. So a lot of exciting times right now for the Stars. At least they've got their, head coach. Now they're bringing back Colin Blackwell. That's a very small but very underrated move. And it stops a trend of the number 15 in Dallas being just a one and done.
Oh, really?
The last 3 or 4 teams, I talked about this with Chris, the A1 at the AAC. We've mentioned this before. It was Craig Smith, and I can't remember who it was before that, but every guy who would sign a deal with the Stars, it would be a 1-year deal. He'd be number 15, and he would have one season here, and then he'd be gone.
Yeah, you're right.
So, Colin Blackwell, congratulations on breaking the trend. We're really excited for you to be back here in Dallas. And real quick on the Mitch Marner thing, just because I thought this was interesting, I saw rumblings of people talking about tampering being involved with Mitch Marner and the Vegas Golden Knights, and that if the Leafs would have just signed him outright, that the league was looking to make an example of somebody like the NBA did with the Knicks this last season with Jalen Brunson. Because, if you've noticed, like, the NBA free agency hit, or these last few days, we haven't heard anything about who's going where.
Yeah,
like,
and all the moves weren't announced, like, right at the
deadline. It's like
time.
everybody's off the board immediately. Like, things are taking some time to develop and progress, and people are signing. It's like, oh, this is how you organically do it.
Although I saw people joking that, Shams Charania was just having to, like, schedule tweets, like, every 15 minutes.
To avoid the tampering.
Praying that he, didn't set it for, like, the wrong time zone or something like that and accidentally send early.
Yeah. So, which that would be a pretty good bit if
that
they
would be a good
colluded
bit.
on that.
With him, it wouldn't be shocking. He knows everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I'm interested to see, I think maybe the Maple Leafs and the Golden Knights working out a sign and trade maybe would keep the Leafs from going after Vegas. But I mean, in my opinion, after some of the stuff that happened with the LTIR, cap maneuvering, like, Vegas wouldn't be the worst team for your PR to make an example out of them.
Yeah.
Like, not saying, like, do something that they didn't do,
right.
but
I mean, they technically did do everything within the rules and all that, at least with the LTIR, but
I mean,
it's also like,
did they?
You don't have to be so blatant too.
Yeah, and like they would celebrate it too. Like it was almost like they were just laughing in everybody's faces.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're gonna like exploit the game like that, like, don't be real cocky about it and arrogant.
Chill out on the hubris.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Pride comes before the fall.
Exactly.
And stuff.
You hear us, Vegas?
Yeah, Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas.
Gamblers.
They are gamblers. Now let's hit some NBA draft stuff here, as we've got. It's always funny when stuff like this happens on live broadcasts, because you can't. I mean, I guess you can. Like, that they're reading off of a script, but you're supposed to kind of watch the screen as well.
Ideally.
But also, it's supposed to line up. Like,
yeah.
You shouldn't have to.
You should be trusting, whether it's the prompter or, the producer in your ear, hopefully, saying, okay, we're going to a shot of this, that's going to be what is seen on the screen. Then you look up and hopefully it is.
And so here's what happened at the draft. They're coming back to SportsCenter and they're introducing Cooper Flagg. And as you'll see here, it was not, in fact, Cooper Flagg.
Welcome back to SportsCenter. You're looking at Cooper Flagg, and in just over an hour from now, that is not Cooper Flagg at all, actually. That is quite famously Ace Bailey. There's Cooper Flagg. No, that's not him either. That's not Cooper Flagg.
Oh, that has to be so defeating for the anchor to do it twice.
Because like the second time, you're like, oh, okay, is this him? Nope, still not him.
Okay, and so
and how did
I guess we can't find Cooper Flagg.
How can you not find Cooper Flagg, or like at least just show like a banked shot of him or something?
Yeah, and I don't know.
He's the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, because I get the feeling that those shots are banked, as they call it. They're pre-recorded.
It's just B-roll. Like, they just record these shots. It's like, oh, okay, when this guy gets drafted, we can load this picture up, show this while they're talking. You think it's live, but it maybe isn't, and it just makes everything look better. Looks,
So the EVS operator, I get the feeling, might have mislabeled, or misnumbered or something.
Or didn't label at all.
Or didn't label at all. That's very possible with, as frantic as a production as that probably is, but it's still very unfortunate for the anchor because they're the one that gets humiliated, publicly. Or it's like, nope, that's not Cooper Flagg either.
And that, like, if you're watching at home, you think it's the anchor who's messing up at the wrong spot. Well, she's just reading what's
she's
on
just
her prompter.
Trusting the prompter or trusting the producer, and then she's left to hang out to dry. And what can you do?
And sometimes it happens.
Hey, it's live camera,
it's live
TV.
It's live. And on a similar NBA draft note, this is a thing that we talked about, I feel like, when we first started, when people were declaring for the NFL draft and everything like that. And Derek Queen, out of Maryland, after he was drafted by the New Orleans Pelicans, made sure to update his LinkedIn about his new job. He said, I'm happy to share that I'm starting a new position as a professional basketball player at New Orleans Pelicans. Can't wait to touch down in New Orleans and meet the fans.
I love that. Like, I don't see it a ton on LinkedIn, but every now and then you will see, like, a random, like, athlete. Most of the time it tends to be a former athlete that, is trying to get maybe public speaking engagements or whatever, but it is a funny thing every now and then seeing professional athlete at whatever team. And it's like, you need a LinkedIn?
Dude, so I just added somebody on my LinkedIn for the first time in years, and I realized how out of date my LinkedIn is.
Yes.
Dude, it still says that I had my... actually, my friend from Mizzou texted me that it showed my my anniversary with CBS Radio, which hasn't been around in about 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, maybe 10 years. And I was thinking about I added them to my network or whatever, but it just seems like a lot of work to update everything and figure out what date, what stuff happens. Like, do I have to say, like...
You're a radio free agent?
Is that what I am?
According to this, yeah. That's what you updated it to?
No, I haven't updated that. No, this is unupdated. I saw an email. I can't remember who it was. Somebody emailed. I got an email that was like, hey, add this person to your profile. And I was like, oh, I know them. I was like, well, I don't want to leave them on red on LinkedIn or whatever. So I was like, I'll add them. And I hit it, and I was like, oh, my God, it says I'm a radio free agent. And then I remembered that during my...
Well, I'm adding you.
Okay, well, I'm going to add you back.
You better.
I remember my friend sending me a screenshot saying, congratulating on my anniversary at CBS Radio, knowing damn well I haven't worked in radio in...
5 years?
5 years?
Yeah.
So... One day I will update that, but today...
Okay, so you updated it in some way after you left...
Yeah, but I guess I forgot to say I wasn't at CBS Radio anymore.
Yeah, you forgot to... That's awesome.
But it's all right. I only have like 5 or 6 years of stuff to update it with.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's really happened.
I was going to say, like, your LinkedIn all of a sudden is going to become just a puzzle piece or something.
Well, can you imagine, like, having a... Like, as a DJ or, like, a freelancer, updating your LinkedIn every single time you do something new?
I mean, I kind of did for a while.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
my God. You're
I mean,
better
it
than
wasn't,
me.
like, necessarily DJing, like, specific events, but, when I went from the Stars to the Rangers or whatever, like, it's probably a bit of a mess. Like, now I think it's a little bit cleaned up where, it says I'm a podcast host at Stolen Water, and then...
Dang, yeah, yours is up to date. I'm slacking.
Yeah.
Have you ever posted on LinkedIn? Like, what do you post on there?
Like, our buddy Rush Olson that we had on a few weeks ago on YDC, like, I said, I reposted his thing, and then otherwise, like, 4 years ago, I posted about having a heck of a fun time with the Dallas Stars. Saad Youssef put out that article about, you taking over from me and me leaving and all that, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't really done a whole lot with it.
Well, dude, I just got your. I just accepted your invitation to connect.
Mm-hmm.
And congratulations, we're now on the same network.
Nice.
Officially.
So I've got 8 experiences, so that's not too bad. But yeah, like Ticket, Mavs, Rough Rider, Stars, Fox/Bally, Rangers, The Freak, RIP, and Stolen Water. Yeah, it's not
proud
too
of
crazy.
You. I'm proud of you.
But for a while, I think it was, and it probably just also looked like it with as many jobs as I switched between all that, where it's like, all right, dude, like, congratulations.
Well,
now stop.
I don't know if the WNBA is on LinkedIn, but I don't know if anybody's connecting with Caitlyn Clark.
No, probably not.
There's been a vote that came out that basically, Caitlyn Clark finished first among fan voting with a record 1.2 million votes, which was not a surprise. So she finished third among guards in the media voting behind only Alicia Gray and Sabrina Ionescu.
Sure.
And then in player voting for guards, she was ranked 9th in the WNBA this season. And she's missed 7 of, Indiana's 16 games, which maybe that played a part in it, but with how...
Maybe also knowing how popular she was, like, hey, let's give some other players a little love, too. Just, if Caitlyn's going to win by a landslide, she's going to be the starter no matter what, I believe.
Well...
That's, playing devil's advocate, maybe.
Right.
But, it doesn't look great for the WNBA players.
And Dick Vitale took some time out to address it, as he said, absolutely pure jealousy that the WNBA players voted Caitlyn Clark the 9th best guard. Someday they will realize what she has done for all of the players in the WNBA. chartered planes, increase in salaries, sold out crowds, and improved TV ratings.
Yeah.
So that's, I mean, you can't deny the popularity that she has and how, I mean, dude, the game on Friday, the Wings and Fever game, it was sold out, and tickets were going at a ridiculous rate.
It was insane,
to see Caitlyn Clark and Paige Beckers, on obviously too, but people were there really to see Caitlyn Clark.
Yeah.
And you know, I could see how maybe some people might get jealous of that, seeing that she's the face of the WNBA already, and maybe there's some jealousy involved, but
still, man, like, she's an all-star.
Yeah. And if I have this correctly, too, Paige Beckers, speaking of her, she was voted as an all-star starter.
I believe you're right, yeah.
I saw that in passing yesterday, so that's pretty cool. Like, she was at the Mavs draft party, and that was the first time I'd really heard her talk or anything, and, you know, she was really, you know, she had a lot of good things to say. She was excited to be in Dallas. She mentioned, too, how, hey, look, this was before we knew Caitlyn Clark wasn't playing, but she's like, it's not Caitlyn versus Paige. Like, this is the Fever versus the Wings.
Yes,
like,
Becker says all the right things from what I can tell.
Yeah, and she's great. And, like, even when we had her at, you know, the Stars games in the postseason, you could tell, like, she knows she's Paige Beckers. She's really damn good at basketball, but she's not really, like, she was just kind of shy with the camera and, like, more quiet, more reserved, like, just likes to go about her business and, you know, get buckets.
Yeah, I kind of got that same feeling. You know, she threw out the first pitch at a Rangers game recently, too.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, all her teammates were around her, or at least just about all of them were, and they all, you know, seemed to be supportive and all that, where it wasn't like, it didn't feel like a jealous thing or a, you know, a Caitlyn Clark type of situation.
Right.
So,
yeah,
she seems to be, you know, very popular with her teammates, and, it looks like, where'd it go? Beckers... Damn it. Just a notch below Paige Beckers. Beckers was second behind Clark in the fan voting and fourth in player voting.
Yeah.
So she's moving up pretty quickly, too.
Yeah. And only, I believe the only rookie to be selected.
That's pretty awesome.
To the All-Star game. Definitely the only rookie starting. So congratulations to Beckers. I just can't wait till they get, like, a really good team around her.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to go to the game or anything on Friday, but they still lost even without playing against Caitlyn Clark. And I don't know like how good the Fever are, but
good enough.
Good enough. So, but apparently Beckers put on a show, is what I heard. So
she'll do that, and then
she will do that.
Yeah, and some a little bit more breaking news. Not sure how big, but Milwaukee Bucks are trading Pat Connaughton and two of their own second-round picks, 2031, 2032, to the Hornets for selling Micic.
Okay.
And then Dennis Schroeder is signing with the Sacramento Kings, 3 years, $45 million.
Okay.
Corey Perry finalizing a deal with the LA Kings.
Okay, so that was a name. Corey Perry was mentioned as a potential Dallas Star, a candidate to return to the Dallas Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I think that him going to the Kings, this will end his streak of going to every Stanley Cup and losing.
Yes, potentially.
Because I mean, it'll be fun as hell, though, to watch him play with the Kings against the Oilers.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
You know, like, I think that'll be pretty entertaining, but I think I would be shocked if the Kings made the Stanley Cup final next year.
Yes. One more hockey move. You might have a little bit more of an opinion on this than I do, but what a heel turn among heel turns. Brock Boeser is staying in Vancouver on a 7-year deal.
Brock Besser.
Besser, sorry.
So, no, you're good. So, it's been widely believed that he would be moved for sure. He wasn't happy in Vancouver. He's been rumored to be traded for years now, at least like 2 years probably. And so, yeah, I mean, for him to stay in Vancouver. And they have some weird stuff going on in Vancouver, too, with Elias Pettersson apparently wasn't real popular in the locker room, and I can't remember if he was part of all that, if he was rumored to be like butting heads with him, but no, maybe it looks like they're gonna try to just figure things out in Vancouver, or maybe that means Elias Pettersson's on the move now. But that is certainly a very interesting domino to fall in the NHL free agency landscape. So
so much happening.
we're going to do a read real quick
Yay.
and see if anything happens while I tell you about the greatness of the Frisco Rough Riders. The YDC and Sunset Lounge will be at the Frisco Rough Riders Thirsty Thursday games all season. You'll spot us in the lazy river, sitting in the stands, maybe just wandering in the crowd. Take advantage of our promo code and a preloaded ticket with $6 towards your first Thirsty Thursday drink, or you can use it at concessions. Go to ridersbaseball.com/specials and use code Let's Ride 25. All one word. Quench your thirst on Thirsty Thursdays with YDC and the Sunset Lounge. And what if you could free yourself of pain, anxiety, and sleepless nights and do it naturally? CBD House of Healing only carries products from their lab made to meet the highest quality and purity standards. Find a relief from the aches and pains, the emotional stress and drain, and sleep again. Shop online, cbddallas.com, or in person, and grab a slushie at 8550 Plano Road, Suite 101, Dallas. Begin your healing at the House of Healing. So,
Man,
I think
so much
about
happening.
the slushies often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very tasty.
They're really, like, I don't know what, do you know what the flavor was?
I think like pina colada,
Oh,
basically, and maybe mixed with was it strawberry or something else,
like
but
cherry maybe? I don't
really
know.
tasty.
Dude, so good.
Yeah, whether you get 1 pump or none or 5,
Yeah.
you're gonna enjoy it no matter what.
No matter what, you're going to have a good time. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to taste good. So, now we're on to some baseball news.
Yay!
As we have what people are calling the pimp job of the year from Adolis Garcia. The Rangers being down in the bottom of the 10th. They're down 6-3, runners at the corners, 1 out, full count. And here's Adolis Garcia.
3-2. And there's a swing and a drive.
Oh.
It's deep to left, and it's gone! Off the facade of the second deck! Aiken blew another save. Garcia has saved this game. He pulled it right back out of the dirt. And it is 6-6.
I think we need to let that roll one more time
Yeah.
just to get that
I believe it was.
pimp job once more, because good gosh.
Yeah.
2. And there's a swing and a drive. It's deep to left.
Just so good.
And so, I'm sure there's probably another angle of it, too. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
there
there
we
we
go.
Ball, middle away. And I love that from Garcia.
Dude.
And you know, like, I mean, the Rangers went on to lose that game still,
Yeah,
right?
10-6, but they've played 4 straight extra inning games.
Yeah,
It's insane.
So, the previous series was the Mariners,
Yeah,
right? And every
so-
game went to the extras.
Yeah, I think it was 12, 10, and 10. Or
And then
12, 10,
11?
and 11. Yeah.
So 12, 10, 10, 11. And so, I mean, especially for a guy like him who's struggled this season pretty mightily, like, that didn't even seem like he was trying to say anything to the other team. It was just
No.
more like a confidence thing for him. Like,
yeah, just like,
he's
hell
still Adolis Garcia. He's still the guy who, carried the Rangers to the 2023 World Series. So, yeah, that was...
God, that was awesome. Yeah, like Adolis, like, I don't know. I've seen, a little bit of trade rumors maybe for him.
Oh,
When
really?
we get closer to the deadline, because he does still have something to provide. Like, his defense has been awesome.
Okay.
Still got a great arm. Like, if a team feels like they can really get him on track offensively, he's still a hell of a player. But I hope the Rangers keep him around for a while, because, God, he's fun to watch. Even if it is a little tough watching him struggle, like when he's able to do stuff like that, it's just so fun.
Well, and isn't it kind of like he's ours too? Like, even though we didn't draft him initially, I believe we had traded for him from the Cardinals,
Yeah, it
minor
was-
league deal.
Yeah.
But like, he made his name with us. And I mean, I know sometimes people need like a change of scenery, and sometimes trades like that work out for the best. But is there part of you who's like, that's like, give him a chance to figure it out here this season? I don't know what his contract situation's like,
I
but
think he's got another year or two, something like that. But yeah, just he's not making a ton of money, and like you said, the investment that the team put into really getting him right. Because I remember, in 2020, I think is when was his first season. There was no fans in the stands, but I was kind of watching all the work that he was doing, in the kind of preseason stuff and trying to get ready for the shortened season, like he was putting in work.
Yeah.
And it still took a little while for it to fully pay off, but 23 made it all worth it. And yeah, hopefully we can keep him around. Like he's, it's almost like a homegrown Corey Seager thing. Like I don't think we can ever let someone like Seager go,
Right.
he meant so much to our playoff run and World Series run. And Adolis, I think, is almost a little bit more special just because we really developed him.
Right. He didn't come from the Dodgers. Or
Right.
from the
Corey
Yankees.
was like a ready-made product and
Right.
all that. Like, he's basically just a set and forget. Let him do his thing, and he's ready. But Adolis just put in the work.
Are they? So what? How are things looking in Rangerland? Like, what?
It's not ideal right now. Like,
I know that I saw today that they have the best team ERA in the league, and they're the only team in the top 10 with under 500. So it's just all on the offense.
Yeah, it's basically if the offense can score 4 runs, they're pretty much unstoppable. But that, unfortunately, isn't really happening. And with the pitching, like DeGrom nearly threw a perfect game.
I
Like,
saw that.
Evaldi's been awesome again. But unfortunately, like Tyler Malley, who was really good for us, is now going to be on the IL until like after the trade deadline, most likely.
I saw Chris Young said he's not going to be back anytime soon.
Yeah, so it's definitely been tough, where it's like the team is still battling.
Yeah.
They're still making the effort, making the, trying to get, trying to battle, trying to get to, we're getting to extra innings, but then the pitching kind of falters a bit because the bullpen has been used a lot lately, and it's just, a really tough balance that they're trying to ride. And, there's still sparks there. There's still moments, but it is definitely getting close to that time of figuring out, do we need to sell? Because I think right now we're about 10 games back of the Astros, which, means we're pretty much not, much of a candidate for that. But even the wild card race is looking pretty tough too.
Yeah, 9.5 back of the Astros.
Yeah. And so, it's not looking great for the Rangers. But the pitching has just been so good that you still feel like you got a chance if the offense can do just a little bit more. And, where I don't know, we might see Josh Young, benched or demoted.
Yeah, he's been terrible, huh?
It's been rough. Like, there was a graphic a few days ago of just, he swung out like 17 pitches out of the strike zone that, in like a very short amount of time. Just, he's been chasing a lot. He's clearly in his head where, he's gotten a chance to reset before, and now it's, okay, do we give him another chance to reset while sitting on the bench in the majors, or do we just say, dude, go down to Round Rock, get your head right there?
Yeah.
Kind of what they did with Jake Berger about a month ago.
Yeah.
And since then, Berger's been pretty good.
Yeah.
So, we're not giving up on someone like Young, but it definitely feels like, something's got to change. Something's got to give, because right now it's just, even if his defense is still really good, the offense just is not there right now. And we can't afford to have so many, be that poor, right now, and especially not as bad as Young has been.
Yeah, and
but I still like him. I've still got his bobblehead behind me.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that anybody can do to take him away from the 2023.
Yeah.
And
season, he's a Texan and all that. Yeah. Like, we want him to succeed, and it's just sometimes you have to reset a little.
And the Rangers are 3.5 out of that final. There's 3 wild card spots now. So yeah, they're 3.5 back from the Mariners. So the good news is, I mean, I'm sure they've got a bunch of games left against the Mariners. So if they can take care of business against them, the only problem is in situations like this, you've also got the Angels in front of you, the Red Sox, and then the Guardians. So you've got to also bank on them losing while you win all the time, and the people are going to play each other, and so
that's kind of the blessing and the curse of the new wild card system is like you never feel like you're totally out of it, so you try to hold on as long as possible to all your assets.
Yeah,
but then it's like you get to the trade deadline, you kind of have to push that button of, okay, we're going for it, or we're going to have to wave the flag at least a little bit and reload. Because I think it's still a good team. Like, I've, talked about it a little bit with some of my friends on the Rangers, in the control room of like, most of the time we're fielding basically the same squad that won the World Series,
That's
just
what's
with
so crazy.
Wyatt Langford instead of Leote.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Occasionally
and DeGrom's
someone,
actually pitching.
right, and my gosh, he's been awesome.
amazing, too.
Yeah, so you also want to make sure that you're not wasting another year of DeGrom, because if he's going to pitch like that, you got to take advantage.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the Rangers bats can heat up here pretty soon, because like you said, it's July 1st. Like, we're running out of time here.
Yeah, they got about a month to really figure out what they're going to be.
And on another home run note here, we've got a White Sox player in a Rangers game mocking the umpire during his home run trot.
2 outs in the 8th inning. Slider goes the other way, puts it into left field. They come up throwing the play at the plate. Out. Was running in quicksand at the end, it looked like. After review, the call on the field is overturned. The catcher blocked the plate, and that's the lead in the game. And Andrus is a hero, and Bochy's like, what are you talking about? Fucking shitting me? Waddles out. What was the call? Trying to figure it out. Now, you can't argue at all. So he gets ejected, and then he's going to have a nice, I understand. It's not your call. I get it. But I'm just saying, that's bullshit. And who made the call on that play? Huh? The catcher walks up to the home plate. I'm just like, what did I do wrong? You and I will look at it. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I don't know. I thought you had it. I called him out. So I don't know what they're seeing. So he's like, all right, you and I will talk about it tomorrow and we'll figure it out. And he's like, all right, I guess so. Now, the next game, I'm guessing maybe they had a chat, maybe they didn't. But Heim comes up with 2 on, 2 outs, 2 strikes, 2-run lead, takes that inside fastball and says, see you later. Home run as he rounds first base, says, we'd like a review. Can you review that? I don't know if that actually got out. Much to the enjoyment of his pitchers. You can see he says he called for a review, and he says right now, he says, yeah, he just did it. Called for a review. And they're like, oh, that devilish guy, our catcher.
I really like Jonah Heim.
I know, me too. Like, I realize it's older with Andrus. He's on the Rangers network now, but like, I don't know. I just love John Boy too, like how he explains stuff and he can read the lips of all the players.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
impressive.
Manager. Like, it helps give you like kind of a insight on what happens on the field, between the umps and the players, and you don't get a whole lot of that. Like, I've always wanted even if it's on pay-per-view or something, just like let us hear all the trash talk and let us hear mic them up and don't censor it, don't edit it, just release that footage.
Man, I think there's definitely a market there, but I think the closest we're going to get is John Boy, who I know that he has brought in a lot of people into baseball and into cricket, because he's gotten into that too.
Oh,
and
really?
Major League Cricket or whatever, I think, is got him involved in stuff. But he's been a great ambassador for the game in terms of just getting people to realize these guys aren't just robots. They're there's a lot of passion there. There's a lot of energy. It's not as obvious as a basketball or hockey or football game, but there's a lot more going on under the surface than you realize with baseball.
Yeah. Well, speaking of under the surface, we're going to go to SeaWorld now, where the Ying Yang Twins were spotted performing at SeaWorld in San Diego.
Wow. So, Ying Yang Twins and SeaWorld are still going strong?
I mean, it seemed pretty strong to me.
Yeah.
That
was a hell of a crowd.
But can you imagine, you take your kids to SeaWorld and
they're to see Shamu
and instead it's the Ying Yang Twins.
And that would be kind of fun.
I think so too, but then
you definitely
get low and you're like, Are they gonna? Nope, they're not gonna censor themselves.
They apparently, or at least they're letting the crowd sing it. And,
Oh yeah, and the crowd
and be like, we didn't make them sing it.
That's always one of the things with like sing-alongs, like at games. I'm like, if I played one that had a cuss word in it but was clean, but I had them sing into play, and the crowd cussed, would I get in trouble for that?
Yeah, would you be like?
Because
would someone get on you for like inciting it, or
I don't know.
Only one way to find out.
Only one way to find out. And then this I saw. We did this either last week or 2 weeks ago,
yeah.
but I found Easy Band doing Rage Against the Machine.
Ooh,
and I was intrigued, and then I was pleasantly surprised with how well it turned out. My favorite thing about this is this is such an angry song.
Yes.
It's such a hard hitting and this is it's so happy, but it's still
but it's still the lyrics are still strong,
right,
and powerful and all that. But yeah, it's fun.
I love it.
Dude, Easy Band is so awesome.
Now you do what they told ya. Yes, look at the dicen. Now you do what they told ya. Yes, it's look at the dicen. Now you do what they told ya. Yes, it's look at the dicen. Now you do what they told ya. Yes, it's look at the dicen. Now you do what they told ya. Yes, it's look at the dicen. Now you do what they told ya. Yes, it's look at the dicen. Those who die are justified for wearing the match. They're the jumps of life. You justify those that die for wearing the match. They're the jumps.
Yeah, lyrics are definitely still strong.
Yeah.
But, and a strong message. But
right. But
then you also want to dance.
You want to dance, and you want to bob your head to it, and it seems like a much happier song.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Pumped Up Kicks, where it's a really
Dude,
fun
yes.
song, but then you pay attention a little bit more to the lyrics, even though they're pretty obvious.
And
like, oh,
and I was recently reminded of when I first got the Stars job, and you mentioned this "Semi-Charmed Life" by Third Eye Blind, Like
that's basically about like doing crystal meth or something.
Yeah, speed or it's like there was an Instagram video that broke it down and the other day, and I remember you bringing it up to me like when I mentioned, I was like, "Oh, I would play this." He's like, "Well, have you checked the lyrics?" And I was like, I know the lyrics but I've never really studied them.
Mm-hmm.
They are wild.
They're pretty wild.
They are pretty wild.
Like I think you or I might have made like a loop of the do part. I remember. I feel like I might have made it for like a preseason, like celebrating a goal or something. But I kind of stayed away from the full song.
I think I've just played different Third Eye Blind songs.
Yeah,
just avoided that one just in case. I don't think anybody would care or notice.
No,
but it's just nah.
It's such a popular song,
right?
But it's also, you don't have to. Like, it's a 25-year-old song at this point.
Yeah,
which is crazy. You're 30. It's like 97 or 98.
Damn.
Time stops for no one, Shippy.
For no one. And now we have a manager doing the manager spin.
Yes, it's one of my favorite things of a Karen, asking to speak to the manager, and then it turns out that the person they're talking to is the manager.
Work done, and I need to get out of here. It doesn't work like that. It takes days. I want to talk to the manager. Okay, 1 second. Hi, how can I help you? That is no problem. I just see that here like you own the place. I want to rent a yacht. Does it look like you have yachts? I see them all around there. We don't have any yachts for rent. I see them. Whose yachts are they? They're personal yachts. You don't want to make some money here at this restaurant. I guess we don't. What the hell are you doing? You cannot record me. That is against my HIPAA law. The paperwork.
So
Her HIPAA
that-
law?
yes, so
The health law?
yes, but apparently that lady was trying to rent a yacht, and that is a restaurant that she was at. That is the backstory that I understand it to be.
She's like, we can get you some like nachos
yeah,
or
but
tacos. Or
no,
you want
those
a
are all-
burger. No, we want a
yeah.
yacht. And
But those are all personal yachts.
she goes, well, what about? I see yachts. She goes, yeah, those are personal
Yeah.
yachts. Like you can't just buy one. You can't just rent one.
Yeah, and then her HIPAA laws got violated
Her
because
hip-
she
that-
freaked out in public.
That part was probably my favorite.
That is.
Yeah, you can't record me. That's a violation of my HIPAA laws.
Like, no, it's not.
Like actually,
If you freak out in public, like, you're gonna be recorded.
all right, we got a little
Logan
Yeah.
Stankoven, 8-year extension with the Hurricanes.
8 years for Logan Stankoven with the Hurricanes. And then other than that, I don't think I've really seen too much other NBA or NHL news.
Yeah.
We got some re-signings and stuff. We mentioned Corey Perry to the Kings. I think everything else is kind of like little niche deals. Oh, I did want to mention, I guess, Mikhail Granlund is going to the market today. So I don't know if maybe the Stars, if he doesn't sign to something soon, can make some cap space for him, but it looks like he will be moving on.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Do you have any extra notes there?
This was a very unconfirmed, but have you heard of the Empty Netters pod?
I have not.
Dan and Chris Powers, presented by BetMGM, but they're claiming hearing Roddick Foxa is headed back to Dallas.
Oh,
which
really?
that would be neat, but
yeah, that'd be
yeah,
cool.
someone asked who are you hearing this from. They haven't responded, so it might be nothing. But, well, Robert Tiffin just reposted it, so
Okay.
maybe they've got a little credibility. I don't know anything about them.
Well, and I do know every time that the Blues came to Dallas this past season, his family was always there. Like his little kid and his wife would always come by and walk by, and I always say hi to him. It's like I didn't really know him, but
Sure.
I see him enough to like, you're back in town. Like, oh hey, like good to see you guys again. So that'd be cool if they were back. I mean,
Yeah, who knows?
who knows?
We don't know anything.
We don't know, and we're done talking for the day.
We are.
Well, that was a fun one.
That was.
We did that one for Michael Jordan after baseball, Rudy Tomjanovich, no Silent J,
Mm-mm.
Derek Holland, Pedro Martinez, Sammy Vatanen for sure, and Daryl Dawkins and Bob Gibson. Thank you to Grubes.
You're welcome.
Thank you to Yvonne for making us sound good. Thanks to Ashley for everything she does in the background. I'm Shippy.
I'm Grubes.
We're out of here. Good luck out there to everyone, especially in free agency if you're in Dallas. And we want you to get good people.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at you. Stars and Mavs.
Sports.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.